All right, well, we got it done. So it takes 21 1-ounce gold coins in capsules to fill a tube. So it's going to take a little while if you're buying them one at a time. And that's how I got this one done. I bought 1 ounce at a time. Now, buffaloes are cool coins. So I probably don't need to spend a whole lot of time explaining why I've been buying them, but I did come around to them relatively slowly. I was focused on American Gold Eagles right up until the beginning of 2020. And part of that switch for me was just making these videos. Buffalo just looks really nice on camera, and Eagles, well, they look okay. On top of that, the more that I've thought about it, the more I think that 24 karat is just a more flexible coin, at least in the future. And that's not just because it's easier to physically bend, it's because it opens up an option or two with selling. And sell to jewelers and sell in other countries. Just as an example of that, Canada and then several Asian countries both have tax exemptions for 24 karat coins. They have tax on 22 karat. And then with those jewelers, I just know a few willing to give you spot for 24 karat coins. I don't know that I would actually sell to a jeweler, but it's one more option. And as far as spot goes, I don't expect to only get spot for most of what I buy, but I like having those extra options. And I was bored with Eagles, so a little bit of this is probably me just looking for a few reasons to try something else. Anyway, there's no real drawbacks to a Buffalo. And I don't know if it gets old hearing me talk about filling that tube, but it's a personal goal that has been really good for me. It's easy to see that progress when you can just literally count them down. And then I guess once you hit it, just finally check it off. And it is checked off, but I've only got 15 of them here on the desk. And then I guess I've got the proof coin as well. The rest are vaulted. I mean, the reason for that is I just wanted to have some 24 karat coins off site to balance out some Eagles. And I don't know that I'm going to change that. I don't know if I'll bring those 5 back so they're just together or not. And I guess the real question there is whether or not I'm going to buy 5 more Buffaloes. My plan is to switch back to Eagles as my primary. And then after that, I don't know that I need more Buffaloes or not. I'm going to kick around picking up Canadian Maple Leafs or Britannias as a 24 karat option. It depends a lot on premium. Obviously, the premium on Buffaloes is higher, but there are some benefits to the coin. If you want the most popular 24 karat gold coin here in the United States, it's the Buffalo. But there are a lot of good options. Some are just distractions, like these commemorative coins from the US Mint, but there are a lot of decent foreign mint coins. And decent is relative, depends on where you live. The Canadian Maple Leaf, it's a good option here in the United States. It's the best option in certain countries. And I would consider a coin like that long before I would consider paying the crazy premiums that the US Mint charges for these commemoratives. There are a few things to think about from a tax perspective. If you look at the Canadian Maple Leaf, they are specifically called out by the IRS. If you sell more than 25 ounces, a dealer is required to fill out and submit a 1099-B tax form. And I'm not trying to avoid capital gains taxes in any way whatsoever, but that particular form, it just adds a level of effort and scrutiny beyond what the IRS requires for a sale of US coins. And Britannias aren't currently identified in the law like Canadian Maple Leafs are, but I wouldn't be surprised if that law was updated to include anything not from the US Mint in the future. And if you're from the UK, you have capital gains tax exemptions on anything from the Royal Mint. So they're a little bit like Buffaloes. If I lived in the UK, I really wouldn't have a reason that I can come up with to buy anything outside of the Royal Mint coins, except just kind of pure curiosity. So back to the United States, this isn't a huge deal, but there are easy choices that just don't trigger that 1099-B form. So I always think twice about buying Krugs, Canadian Maple Leafs, or Mexican Gold since they're called out specifically. Another thing that's called out, by the way, is junk silver. That falls into that 1099-B reporting requirement if you sell more than $1,000 face value. Now, I'm not a fan of junk silver to begin with, but that's always seemed kind of strange to me. Now, there's nothing magic about a tube specifically. I suppose it's got enough heft that if you really found yourself in a pinch, you could drop it in a sock and have a makeshift weapon, but mostly I feel like it's just like an ultimate savings option because there are a few points of friction that would keep me into biting into it for dumb things. Once I get a tube filled, I think of it as a block. Now, I've talked about start over funds, and I guess I could also think of a tube as a year of expenses or at least a year of help with expenses, but To sell down a tube, something really big would have to come up. I hope I didn't jinx anything right there, but it's possible. I guess a real estate deal could get me to do it. But my plan is to hold on to them for actual emergencies, and then ideally just to hand them down to my kids. I guess I'd love to be able to do the math on tubes rather than doing the math on random coins. A tube is actually 20, by the way. Only reason I mentioned this tube fitting 21 is that I have the proof buffalo. And that proof, I guess it's part of the herd, but I definitely think of that differently than I think of the standard BU coins. If anyone is wondering about liquidating a tube of gold, by the way, it's actually pretty easy. Now, I can't tell you what kind of lead time or paperwork is required in your specific location, but where I'm at, it's phone call. I've never had a delay, and I know that's a matter of timing, so just plan on speaking to your local dealer or an online dealer, I guess, a little bit in advance. And if you sell more than $10,000 worth of gold, it's a safe bet there's going to be some kind of paperwork, but below that number, I've never seen it go any other way than a quick exchange. You drop your 4 ounces of gold or whatever it is, and then you walk away with your stack of cash. Again, a full tube, there's a little bit more to it, but it's not that difficult overall. And I think that it's important to know what it takes to liquidate an asset before you actually need to do it, even if you don't think that you will. And it's an easy phone call. You just find a local dealer and give them a call, ask them if they're buying gold, and then ask them how they go about doing it. I think that's a good place to stop. So next up, I'm not really sure what I'm shooting for. My default is Eagles, but I'm still not sure that that's what I'll do. I might grab a few more Buffaloes. Maybe I'll switch up to Canadian Maple Leafs, maybe Britannias. Might even chase a 1/4 ounce Eagle tube. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment, hit the like button, make sure you're subscribed. All of that helps a lot. And if you're still here, thank you again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.